There's a moment when everything shifts for an INFJ. The people-pleasing breaks, and something far more substantial rises in its place. It's not a rejection of who you are, it's the integration of depth and strength you've carried all along, now stepping into the light. In this video, you'll learn 8 clear signs that you've entered your Sigma era. By the end, you'll recognize the first stirrings of this change in yourself. And later, we'll point to the moments that usually flip the switch. So let's begin with the first shift, one you've long felt in your bones. Before we start, please hit the like button, comment, and subscribe so you won't miss any of our weekly deep dives into the world of personality types. And if you are looking to achieve a deeper understanding of yourself and your personality type, click the link in the comments to take our favorite free personality test. Number 1. The liberation from seeking understanding. The first shift is the release from that lifelong craving to be fully understood. You know the ache, the constant hope that someone, anyone, will finally look into your inner world and truly get it. The unawakened INFJ spends endless energy explaining feelings no one else seems able to translate. But it's like trying to describe the color blue to someone who's been blind since birth. No matter how carefully you explain, the experience will never land the way you hope. The Sigma INFJ stops chasing that impossible translation. What was once a desperate search softens into calm acceptance. You realize your worth no longer hangs on external validation, and you no longer waste breath explaining yourself to ears not tuned to your frequency. Instead, you carry an internal confirmation system that affirms your truth without needing someone else to mirror it back. The more you release the demand to be seen, the more energy flows back into self-discovery and growth. It isn't isolation, it isn't withdrawal, it's liberation. Takeaway: when you stop demanding the world see you, you reclaim your energy. And with that reclaimed energy comes a new kind of empowerment. One that shifts how you navigate other people's emotions and protects you from being drained by them. Number 2. Mastering the empathy dial. Remember that feeling of stepping into a crowded room and being hit by a wave of emotions that weren't even yours? The anxiety, the tension, the sadness swirling around until you felt like you were carrying everyone's weight. That's the old pattern. The Sigma INFJ learns something different. What I call the empathy dial. You don't have to absorb everything. You don't have to drown in emotional static. You learn to turn empathy down, pause it, or open it entirely, depending on the moment. You can engage deeply. You also choose when to engage. That choice is the difference between being consumed and being in control. Now notice what happens once you master this dial. You can stand inside the storm and remain steady, almost as if watching the weather through glass. It's not coldness, it's clarity. Your compassion doesn't diminish, it becomes precise. Instead of scattering it everywhere, you direct it where it matters most, offering it to those who can receive it with care. And the payoff is enormous. No more constant overload, no more emotional burnout after every interaction. Instead, you preserve your energy for the spaces and people worthy of it. This selective control naturally shapes how you handle your time and space. That's where the next shift reveals itself. Number 3. Strategic solitude as command center. That old reflex of apologizing whenever you needed space fades quickly. What once felt like retreat now takes on a very different meaning. For the Sigma INFJ, solitude becomes nothing less than a command center, a place where deep processing, strategic thinking, and quiet recalibration take form. This is no longer downtime for recovery. It's a deliberate time where the mind organizes, connects hidden patterns, and forges new insights. You begin to treat your solitude the way a CEO treats their most critical meetings, planned, guarded, and non-negotiable. It's the workshop where ideas are refined and strategies are born. In this space, you drop the guilt. You know your best clarity emerges here, and you protect it accordingly. Anyone who threatens this sacred space meets quiet, unyielding boundaries. not out of hostility, but because you know the value of what happens in your private hours. All fabulous creations require a container. For the INFJ, this is it. Notice how your thinking clears in those private hours. See how new answers rise when the noise recedes. This isn't isolation. It's a chosen kingdom of clarity, peace, and strength. Energy that will later be shared with others on your own terms. And once you learn to anchor yourself in this stronghold, a new realization follows. Your compass for worth and direction doesn't come from the outside anymore. It begins to rise from within. Number 4, the internal validation system. That's where the internal validation system takes center stage. Instead of looking outward for approval before making a decision, you build a foundation inside yourself that removes the need for permission. You shift from questioning to declaring, trusting the quiet authority of your own refined judgment. This change reshapes how you measure worth. No longer do you wait for someone else to affirm your choices. Your self-assessment becomes the measure that matters most for you, guided by intuition and a trust in your own conclusions. The energy you once spent seeking confirmation now reinforces your independence. Think of it as a quiet internal compass you check before you act. It's simple but powerful. You sense when you're aligned without anyone pointing it out. When someone disagrees, test their point of view against your own compass first. If it holds steady, their opinion becomes just background noise. If it shakes something loose, you use that awareness without letting it corrode your core. This is how you begin filtering the world's endless input. Honest feedback is separated from projection, jealousy, or misunderstanding. You can hear criticism, weigh it, and let it go without losing your center. That inner clarity is what makes this system feel like a psychological immune system. Strong, selective, and reliable. And once you trust this compass, it subtly changes how you present yourself to others. You no longer perform what you think they want. Instead, you choose when and how to reveal your true self. Number 5, selective authenticity over people-pleasing. Instead of adapting yourself to fit every environment, this next shift is about selective authenticity over people-pleasing. In the past, you bent and reshaped your personality like clay, constantly gauging what others wanted from you. That constant performance drained your energy. Now you learn a different rhythm, measured self-revelation. Measured self-revelation means choosing which parts of yourself to share and with whom. You stop offering all of your depth to people who haven't earned it. Instead, you protect your energy by sharing only with those who can respect and honor it. Who has gained access to you? Who respects your depth? Who has proven they can hold your honesty with care? These questions become your filter. This isn't hiding who you are. It's conserving your most authentic layers for those who meet you with mutual trust and respect. It's not about shrinking. It's about becoming deliberate. You recognize that authenticity is a rare form of currency. You spend it where there will be a return, not in places where it's wasted. So the shift is clear. From automatic adaptation to intentional expression, from universal performance to chosen disclosure. Your authenticity becomes something rare, something precious, something you offer, not something extracted. And once you adopt this selective approach, the next step emerges naturally, protecting those choices with clear boundaries, without guilt or apology. Number 6, boundaries. Without guilt or explanation. Think back to when setting even the smallest boundary felt like a battle. Maybe you'd rehearse explanations in your head, stacking reasons on reasons just to justify needing space. That old ritual disappears here. The Sigma INFJ embodies boundaries without guilt or explanation. You learn that no is a complete sentence. This shift is simple but profound. You stop asking for permission. You stop translating your needs into long drawn-out defenses. Instead, you state your limits with clean precision. A short phrase like, "that won't work for me," becomes enough. This kind of clarity protects your energy without inviting debate. The guilt that once shadowed the limit? Gone. You understand your well-being depends on limits, and that clarity frees you. Setting boundaries isn't selfish, it's self-respect. And the outcome is tangible. You're steadier, sharper, and more effective because your inner resources aren't spread thin. Notice how different this feels. Your identity no longer bends to match external expectations. It becomes self-defined. Boundaries move from being fragile negotiations into strong markers of self-worth. They tell the world what you will and won't carry, and that quiet certainty draws its own kind of respect. It's in this steadiness, this refusal to justify your existence, that another transformation appears. Without chasing authority, you begin to radiate it. Number 7. Quiet authority that commands respect. You don't need the title, you need the work. The quiet authority of the Sigma INFJ doesn't come from rank or recognition. It grows out of the hours of unseen processing, the solitude where clarity is forged. That's why, when you finally speak, people lean in. They feel the weight of words born from depth, not from ego. This kind of influence doesn't shout. It doesn't posture. Your presence alone creates an atmosphere of calm conviction, which naturally draws respect. Where the unawakened INFJ once downplayed intelligence to avoid conflict, the Sigma INFJ simply states conclusions with steady confidence. Not as a suggestion, not as a performance, but as the distilled truth of a process others haven't gone through. The difference shows in your delivery. You don't need to argue for legitimacy or chase validation. Your authority rests in the internal work that has already been completed. That's why your perspective feels unshakable, because it isn't borrowed, it's yours. Here's a practical strategy. Speak fewer, well-chosen words. Trust that silence carries weight when it's backed by presence. Listeners remember clarity, not volume, and when you do choose to speak, the contrast makes your voice land harder. This authority is steady because it's earned in solitude. But solitude alone doesn't remove all struggle. There's still the sting of disappointment when your ideals crash into human limits. And that's where the next transformation begins. Number 8. Transforming idealistic pain into pragmatic power. Transforming idealistic pain into pragmatic power is one of the most defining shifts for the Sigma INFJ. Where once you carried the ache of visions that seemed too pure for the world, you now channel that intensity into grounded effectiveness. Instead of being undone by what should be, you learn to work with what is. The first shift is simple. You accept progress in pieces. Lasting change comes from steady steps, not sudden revolutions. An imperfect step forward is worth more than 1,000 hours of perfect contemplation. That realization frees you from paralysis and puts you into motion. You also start to plan for human nature, not against it. People bring ego, fear, and self-interest to the table. Instead of resenting those realities, you account for them. You build strategies that acknowledge the whole human picture, making your vision both durable and practical. The energy once spent grieving flaws in others now fuels workable solutions. This doesn't mean surrendering your ideals. It means evolving them into actions that survive contact with reality. You begin to play the long game, knowing that sustainable change requires patience, resilience, and many small wins layered over time. Your hope doesn't fade, it gets sharper. Your compassion doesn't shrink, it learns how to move the world one turn at a time. With that steadiness in place, a larger truth becomes clear. Awakening is not about discarding who you were, but about integrating who you've always been. The conclusion of this journey is clear. Awakening as a Sigma INFJ isn't about becoming someone else. It's about integrating the strategic, independent parts of you that were always present, waiting for recognition. The payoff is simple yet profound. You no longer give from a place of depletion. You give from abundance, with choice and clarity, like someone opening the gates of a strong inner fortress. Take a moment to reflect. Which of the 8 signs do you already see in yourself? Share it in the comments below, and subscribe for more. In the end, the path is yours to walk. You choose when to unlock the Sigma within. If you want to continue the journey to understanding yourself or an INFJ in your life, click either of the following videos where we continue to unlock the secrets of the INFJ personality type.